Sippers. Hey, tea sippers. Hey, tea sippers. What it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? Ooh, it's already been one of them days. And it's just 12:05. Sorry, I'm late. Okay, so listen, it's like, where do I start? Do I start with the car? It's just so much distraction, baby. I can't wait until all of the truth behind the Epstein files come out, because it's just too much all day, every day. You don't know where to go, where to turn, where to start. You know, is it a joke? I mean, why these people playing with God? Is God finna show up, show out? What they stealing? What they dealing? You know, is this all just a dream? I mean, what the world is going on? It's just too much. But the gas keep going up. The raises ain't coming. Jobs are gone. Benefits are gone. I mean, benefits that you paid into all your dang life, damn near. And now you finding out that they don't have money for you, but they got money for Israel, a fake state in foreign land. So they in there going at it in Congress about stop funding Israel. Yeah. And Bernie Sanders is not playing. You understand? He is not playing. Yeah, you can go blue screen. You can go whatever screen. Bernie Sanders is not playing. Stop using our military. Stop funding Israel. You had a nerve to be talking about folk over here in the U.S. need to, do this, do that, and this. You can't speak against the political Israel, because, again, it don't have nothing to do with God. And, baby, you can say what you want to say about the Pope. You can say, yeah, I don't know why he just don't go on and call you out, talking about that he don't want Iran to have a nuclear, capabilities, and that he cool on crime. Yeah, why he ain't went on and bust his bubble and tell him he the biggest criminal. You're fired. You're the biggest criminal. But let's tap on into it. I was gonna start with this new little Lego, boo. That Lego is fun, T. If ever, I was finna go into my, you needed the Lord before, you sure do need him now. But I had to say, if ever you needed a little funny, a little giggle to get you out your funk, them Legos will do the job. You understand? They will do the job. I think I'm going to start. Hold on, baby girl. Sending me a message. I think I'm going to start with old George. He had a couple of little quickies. Okay. A couple of little quickies I'm going to start with, and then I'm going to jump on in. It's a lot going on. Watch 2020. It's a lot going on, y'all. But George be funny to me, too, with his accent, and he don't be playing no games. Who he talking about? Let me see. Oh, he talking about the delusion of it all. Let's go here, then. I be trying to make it match. I be trying to make it match, but heck, that take up time, because Auntie Phoebe, she funty. She want it right. She want it just right. And Miss Tom, please, I am going to eat something here shortly. I gotta do better. I gotta do better. I got to do better. What you saying about Candace? This is why we always have Candace back. What Candace say? What Candace say? Matt, let me cut it up.
To take a complex thought in a big ass scenario with lots of moving parts and tell a story and thread the needle. And each piece that she tells the story is specifically crafted and narrated in a specific way in which she threads the needle and goes way out to left field and comes back and lands that plane. It is just like on fucking point. Every point. You know what makes Candace Owens so dangerous is her ability to use analogies and articulate things and break it down for the little man. The low IQ individuals out there, myself included, she has the ability to take a complex thought in a big ass scenario with lots of moving parts and tell a story and thread the needle. And each piece that she tells the story is specifically crafted and narrated in a specific way in which she threads the needle and goes way out to left field and comes back and lands that plane. It is just like on fucking point. Every point.
I agree.
You know what makes Candace Owens so dangerous is her ability to use analogies and articulate things and break it down for the little man. The low IQ individuals out there, myself included, she has the ability to take a complex thought in a big ass scenario with lots of moving parts and tell a story and thread the needle. And each piece that she tells the story is specifically crafted and narrated in a specific way in which she threads the needle and goes way out to left field and comes back and lands that plane. It is just like on fucking point. Every point of this conversation, just one after another. Check this out. Let me know what you guys think.
Shame on JD Vance for taking the bait on that. In response to Andrew Colbett's questioning, he's going to lecture us. He's going to come in and he's going to lecture us. Take a listen to what JD Vance has to say.
Again, if your instinct is to go after not the left-wing radicals who are assaulting Savannah, or not the people who shot Charlie Kirk, but if your instinct is to go after a young mother because she's grieving in a way that you find in a...
You know what makes Candace Owens so dangerous is her ability to use analogies and articulate things and break it down for the little man. The low IQ individuals out there, myself included, she has the ability to take a complex thought in a big ass scenario with lots of moving parts and tell a story and thread the needle. And each piece that she tells the story is specifically crafted and narrated in a specific way in which she threads the needle and goes way out to left field and comes back and lands that plane. It is just like on fucking point. Every point of this conversation, just one after another. Check this out. Let me know what you guys think.
Shame on JD Vance for taking the bait on that. In response to Andrew Colbett's questioning, he's going to lecture us. He's going to come in and he's going to lecture us. Take a listen to what JD Vance has to say.
Again, if your instinct is to go after not the left-wing radicals who are assaulting Savannah, or not the people who shot Charlie Kirk, but if your instinct is to go after a young mother because she's grieving in a way that you find you find wrong, well, why don't you stay in your lane and mind your own business?
Yeah, amen.
Grief is complicated, and
Grief is complicated.
And so there's another angle of this, Andrew, which is just so absurd, which is that people will say that Erica, she's been doing this or she's been doing that, and I would be doing something different. And it's like, first of all, that's fine. Like, if you want to criticize somebody because you have a disagreement, disagree with my politics, disagree with something that Erica or Andrew say on the Turning Point podcast.
We do.
But this desire to go after her for the way she's grieving her husband, that's the most preposterous thing I've seen in a very long time, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in politics.
Okay, first off, we do criticize them all the time for what they say on the podcast. The whole public has been doing that actually since everything happened. Please stop saying this repeat phrase that everyone grieves differently. It doesn't matter how many times you say it, it doesn't make it true. Okay, you can't just say stuff. Everybody grieves differently. Yeah, no, for sure. Everyone that I know does this. No one. That's why it stands out to people, and people go, this is strange. Most people would fear going out. They would want to be closer to their kids. Stop trying to constantly feed us this slop. But the audacity to say something, like he just said, he said that it was the most preposterous thing that he has seen in politics in a very long time. People criticizing Erica Kirk. That's the most preposterous thing he's seen in politics in a very long time. disagreeing with the new CEO and chairman. This is not just a widow. This is a new CEO and chairman of TPUSA, a position that she did not earn. Nothing that she has done warrants her being in that position. And that to him is like, whoa, I can't believe people are doing this. I've seen some preposterous things just over the last few weeks in politics that should probably rank higher on your list, okay? Like when you guys blew up that school, 150 Iranian schoolgirls were killed, and then you lied about it. That, to me, feels a little more preposterous. I mean, it was not just even 2 days ago that Trump said that he thought Jesus was a Red Cross doctor. That was a little preposterous. Y'all, you're just out here lying about things. I don't know, the Epstein files? Did you have time to go through that, Mr. Vice President? Nothing in there ranked more preposterous for you than us criticizing Erica Kirk? How about Trump just generally attacking a pope because he's calling for peace? How about Trump saying that Brigitte Macron is hot? That was pretty preposterous, that she's got it. It's not even close. The literal ticket you guys ran on was calling for peace. Now you're attacking the Pope, or Trump is attacking the Pope because he's calling for peace. That feels pretty preposterous. Going to war with the explicit aim of opening the Strait of Hormuz, which was already opened before you began the war, is pretty preposterous. Gas prices right now are pretty preposterous. Us criticizing a grieving widow who can't keep her story straight about anything? No, that shouldn't even hit your radar. So please do not lecture us, JD. Do not, okay? The lecture that is coming from you is exactly why we don't like Erica, because we see it for exactly what it is. It's elite. She has money and connections. She can call Vice President J.D. Vance. She can get the Secretary Scott Bessent to issue a letter on demand, demanding you stop looking into their finances. She can get Trump to say how much Charlie loved her in his Easter speech. It's the balcony approach that makes us sick. We feel it. You guys looking down in the crowd like we're animals and you're somehow more dignified. Okay, Mr. Vice President, respectfully, our friends aren't in the Epstein files. And I have enough common sense to know that the reason we refer to it as common sense is because it's shared amongst the commoners, us, the majority. And right now, the left and the right, the internet, we have correctly identified the nature of your friend, Erica Kirk. So please, I beg of you, we are 7 months into this thing. Please do not give us more fed slop. We have had our fill. And if it is truly your desire to transform hearts and minds about Erica, might I very humbly suggest that you start with a story that makes sense about September 10th. What happened? One that doesn't feature magical bullets and Superman necks and trannies that write out entire confessions in the spirit of a Jane Austen novel, my love. One which doesn't feature company employees who witnessed the shooting and for some incomprehensible reason neglect to call 911, but instead rush to remove cameras within minutes. That would be my advice. Rather than lecturing us from a balcony, string together a coherent story and a timeline for the commoners. Please and thank you.
You know what makes Candace Owens so dangerous?
Right on.
Her ability.
Stop. Okay, let's hear old Georgie Porgy. Pudding pie. Kissed the girls and made them cry. Is this the one? Yeah. Let's go. Can y'all hit the like button?
Well, it's live from Moscow for the last time on this visit. But thank you for your close attention to this matter. Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ. He cannot.
Lord in heaven knows he has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. Let the church say amen. I mean, ooh.
Christ. He cannot walk on water. It's not Jesus Christ.
He can't walk in the straight line. He sure can't walk.
It's not Jesus Christ. He cannot walk on water.
Or in the straight line.
Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ. He cannot walk on water, not in the Straits of Trump or the Gulf of America. He is unable to turn loaves and fishes into...
He no longer can hold his bowels. What are we talking about? Oh my God. Oh, where did that come from? Now, y'all know he can't walking on water and change. He can't do nothing. Talking about blocking something. Boy, man, let old Georgie Porgy finish, cause this here. Come on, George, spit it out. I'ma try to hush.
To this matter. Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ. He cannot walk on water, not in the Straits of Trump or the Gulf of America. He is unable to turn loaves and fishes into enough to feed the multitude because he's already eaten, and to hell with the multitude.
Oh, he don't care nothing about the multitude in the U.S. He don't care nothing about the hungry. Only people he care about is Bibi Netanyahu in Israel, cause that's the only place that him or his family is going to be able to rebuild and start over, cause he can't get a dime legally, and now they stealing with the bitcoins and all they hustling the pyramid. They are desperate, aren't they? How you gonna hustle the coins? The coins ain't safe. The real ones and the Trump coins. You stealing from them people too. You need the Lord. You need to ask him to forgive you of all your deceitful ways. Yeah, ask him to bless you with a new way of walking. I got a new. Oh, that's the wrong song. That's wearing my hair. Yeah, no. Yeah, you need you need to ask him to renew the right spirit within you. Yeah, you just evil. You just walk. You've been walking with the devil for so dang long. You don't know no better, and you be believing your own lies. You know he got you when he can't even get you to separate truth from fiction. But carry on. I'm trying, man. I am just sick of folk. I'm just sick of the lie. I'm just sick of the control narrative. I'm just sick of it. Hey, Bella B. Hey, Precious. Hey, hippie gypsy. Hippie gypsy. Oh, please don't take offense when I be talking about them gypsies. them fake Israel gypsies. Stealing people land, stealing their names, stealing their dialect, just stealing. Whole time Bibi Netanyahu finished school, high school, in college in the States. How you in the Philadelphia high school, probably them Jesuit schools, but Hall of Fame, because, you're good at kicking shit around. In Philly, West Philadelphia, born and raised, to the soccer field is where I spend most of my days, Yeah. And that's why your dialect be off. Like you some damn cartoon character. Whichever that one was that used to do all that spit talking. On Bugs Bunny, I think. That's how he talk. That's how he sound to me. Yeah, let's listen.
Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ. He cannot walk on water, not in the Straits of Trump or the Gulf of America. He is unable to turn loaves and fishes into enough to feed the multitude because he's already eaten, and to hell with the multitude. And he's only interested in loaves if there's cheeseburgers in amongst them.
From
He
McDonald's
cannot
only.
turn water into Diet Coca-Cola, although perhaps he'd be wise not to. It is the mother of all talk shows, and we are in for a humdinger of a show. Stay tuned.
And he had another one just popped up I wanted to see before we go. He need the Lord. They say he's calling out for God's help. He's asking Jesus to walk with me. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. He went from I am God all by myself, I don't need his help. Now you asking him. And I heard him in a conference the other day. He sure sound humble. I was like, them folk must have got on his ice. Is this the newest one? I just got something with him.
It's live.
Yeah, let me move on, because I just got one for him. And I don't know if it registered in my history just yet. Hold on. I'm trying to line it up accordingly. Oh, no, you had a whole interview. Oh, that's the interview. Do I want to jump off into the interview? Because this man right here saying, I think he should be hanged for his treason.
With a follow.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to you later. Let's hear this, man. Let's hear this. What you got? Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben. Make it make sense.
Donald Trump is panicking as Iran is calling his bluff. Iran is saying, we will wait you out, Donald. If you think you're going to drag these conversations along and that your blockade on the Persian Gulf is going to starve us to death, and you think that's a good negotiating tactic to put pressure on us to make a deal with you, quite the contrary, Donald. We're not going to make a deal with you until you negotiate within our 10-point framework. We meant what we said, and if you really intend to go down this route, then start the war again. Good luck with your economy. Good luck with your gas prices. Good luck with your midterms. Iran realizes the domestic situation here in the United States, where Donald Trump's approval right now is worse than Richard Nixon's at the time that Richard Nixon resigned. Donald Trump is the least popular president ever in American history right now, and Iran just continues to mock him over and over again.
Laughing
You
in his
have
face.
Iran's parliament leader,
I
MB
wonder if he can
Ghalibaf,
even
making
swim.
it very clear.
Probably
The
not.
10-point framework, Donald, is the only negotiating framework we will agree to. And within that framework, you promise to provide security guarantees to Hezbollah in Lebanon. If you don't give the security guarantees to Hezbollah, we ain't making a deal with you. Now, regardless of what we all think about that, that's what Donald Trump said he agreed to when Trump said, I agree to Iran's 10-point plan. Donald Trump posted that on social media a week and a half or 2 weeks ago when he announced the ceasefire. He said it himself. MB Ghalibaf, Iran's parliament leader, posted the following. The completion and consolidation of a comprehensive ceasefire in Lebanon will be the result of the steadfastness and struggle of the esteemed Hezbollah and its heroic deeds, and the unity of the axis of resistance. And the United States must commit to the agreement. The resistance and Iran are one and the same entity. Whether in war or in a ceasefire, America must back down from the mistake of Israel first. Now, Iran also met with or had conversations with basically the foreign minister of China and the foreign minister of Japan. Iran's foreign minister, Araghchi, warned China and Japan of what Iran saying are the dangerous consequences of the U.S. posture in Hormuz. Iran's foreign minister Araghchi spoke Wednesday with his Chinese and Japanese counterparts, Dropside Rights, briefing both on regional developments following the ceasefire and discussing the economic and security consequences of the war. In his call with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, Araghchi warned of the dangerous consequences of the provocative positions and actions of the United States in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. He thanked thank Beijing and Moscow for opposing an unreasonable and unilateral U.S.-drafted UN security resolution on the conflict, is how Aragchi framed it. Wang Yi, Iran claims, praised Iran, praised the resistance and self-confidence of the Iranian nation, and affirmed China's readiness to support diplomacy toward ending the war. With Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi, Aragchi said disruptions to Hormuz shipping are a direct result of the imposed war, and called on all governments to adopt a responsible approach to prevent further escalation. Motegi expressed concern and said Japan is prepared to help reduce tensions. Aragchi also welcomed Pakistani Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir in Tehran, thanking Islamabad for hosting ceasefire talks and reaffirming the strength of bilateral ties. So Donald Trump basically begged Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir, to take this trip to Tehran to try to bail Donald Trump out. Because Donald Trump thinks that if he threatens, if he huffs and he puffs, that Iran is going to submit and surrender. Iran said no. The 10-point framework is the 10-point framework. We're going to keep control over the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to enrich uranium. We're going to keep our ballistic missiles, our Shahid drones, and our FPV drones. You are going to give us security. You understand, Donald? You are going to give us security.
You understand, little boy?
For Iran, for Hezbollah, for the Houthis, and for our Shiite proxy groups in Iraq. And you're going to pay us reparations, and we're going to charge $2 million a ship if we want to, passing by the Strait of Hormuz. And your blockade and your threats aren't going to scare us. Donald, you know how you keep saying NATO is a paper tiger? That's because everything you say and do is projection. The world knows that you're the paper tiger, Donald. I mean, you are having guests over at the White House where you're telling them, oh, we don't want to continue the war anymore. We just got to put a little bit of pressure. Maybe I'll do some more social media posts, and that'll do the trick and scare Iran. That's why Iran's on social media mocking the hell out of you and calling Melania Epstein queen, and they're out there mocking your mom, your deceased mom. They're out there just saying that, you should be institutionalized. I mean, look, they know the headlines. If I know the headlines, Donald, they know what's going on. At a private White House dinner, Donald Trump told the Dutch king and queen he wants to end the Iran war quickly, saying the only way to bring Tehran back to negotiations is to increase the pressure. Yeah, that's actually the exact opposite way to do it, Donald. Look, if you want to go to war, if you're a war criminal, which you are, and your prerogative is to blow everything up and further tank the economy and just destroy everything and destroy the markets, if that's what you want to do, then go and do this. Increase the pressure and do the threats and talk about bombing civilizations, okay? War crimes. You should be tried at The Hague. You're a despicable piece of trash. You are one of the most horrible humans in world history.
Oh, wow. Hey, Max to the boogie. Max.
If you're doing negotiations, then you have to respect
Thank you for the
sovereignty,
floating hearts.
the right to exist and live at a bare minimum of your counterpart. You can't keep threatening to kill the other side in a negotiation, Donald. If they don't negotiate with you, okay, this is grown-up negotiations. And then you have to make compromises, and you can't make unilateral demands, especially when Iran feels confidently that you lost the war. And you know who also feels that you lost the war? The rest of the world. The rest of the world. Maybe you still have a tiny, small MAGA base and state regime media which calls itself Fox. They'll pretend that somehow this is brilliant 3D chess. That's not what the rest of the world thinks. In the Middle East, they know that the United States security umbrella is worthless. In Asia, they know it's worthless. Heck, you know what Saudi Arabia just did? They just canceled Live Golf. They said, we ain't putting money into golf tournaments in the United States. And that's going to be the domino impact on all of this. You think in the Middle East they're going to start continuing to fund private equity and put money into real estate in the U.S. and do all of the investments? You think that that's what they're going to do after the U.S. let them down? After they saw that you and Netanyahu went it alone and invaded Iran and didn't tell any of your Arab nation friends, the ones who bought you private jets, the ones who funneled money into your crypto companies, the ones who let you pretend you were a big, smart real estate guy to build this building and that building, over which they built for you, just slop your name. You didn't build shit. So you didn't build any, excuse my language, you didn't build anything just to slop your name on it so they can give you a little bit of quid pro quo. You didn't scratch their back when they scratched your back. You just defrauded them like the con artist you've been your entire life, Donald, and they all realize what a pathetic loser you are. Just like you ran every one of your Atlantic City casinos into the ground. That's what you did with the United States security umbrella.
Thank
That's
you,
what you did with NATO. That's what you did with the power and goodwill of the United.
Pause for a cause. Be rich. Thank you, Be Rich, for the laughing disco. Okay, so are we laughing in his face? The whole town's laughing. So we're going to have to laugh and shake our hips. Oh, Lord. Thank you, Be Rich. I greatly appreciate it. Let's go.
United States built after World War II. You pathetic thing, you are so despicable for what
laughing
you
in
have done,
his
not
face.
just right now, but for future generations, and how much you've weakened our alliances, how much you've weakened our soft and strong power. And forgive me if I'm getting passionate right now, but this is such a weak and pathetic thing in the Oval Office. I don't care what political
Are you calling
money
him a
into your
thing?
crypto companies, the ones who let you pretend you were a big, smart real estate guy to build this building and that building, over which they built for you, just slop your name. You didn't build shit. So you didn't build any, excuse my language, you didn't build anything just to slop your name on it so they can give you a little bit of quid pro quo. You didn't scratch their back when they scratched your back. You just defrauded them like the con artist you've been your entire life, Donald.
Everybody.
And they all realize what a pathetic loser you are. Just like you ran every one of your Atlantic City casinos into the ground. That's what you did with the United States security umbrella. That's what you did with NATO. That's what you did with the power and goodwill the United States built
Absolutely.
after World War II. You pathetic thing, you are so despicable for what you have done, not just right now, but for future generations.
Absolutely.
And how much you've weakened our
So
alliances.
this is why I be telling y'all when we thinking that it don't affect us. What about our future? What about the kids? What about how it's gonna look for them? If we don't stand up and fight now, if we don't take the blinders off now, if we don't start paying attention now, what about the kids that we leave behind? What about them? We don't care? Is that what we saying? Oh no, that's not true. We do care. We better start caring. If we love them like we say we do, we better start caring. Cause it's a real issue. It's a real thing. It really is a big deal. Cause they are setting it up for not just us to fail, but everything that follows to fail. Making America great again is making America slaves again. And that's not just to black people. I need for you to understand that. That's all that do not agree with him. That's all that's not in the class of people of him. That's all who are not a part of the elite organized crime. I'm going to leave it at that.
Also feels that you lost the war. The rest of the world. Maybe you still have a tiny, small MAGA base and state regime media which calls itself Fox. They'll pretend that somehow this is brilliant 3D chess. That's not what the rest of the world thinks. In the Middle East, they know that the United States security umbrella is worthless. In Asia, they know it's worthless. Heck, you know what Saudi Arabia just did? They just canceled Live Golf. They said, we ain't putting money into golf tournaments in the United States. And that's going to be the domino impact on all of this. You think in the Middle East, they're going to start continuing to fund private equity and put money into real estate in the U.S. and do all of the investments? You think that that's what they're going to do after the U.S. let them down? After they saw that you and Netanyahu went it alone and invaded Iran and didn't tell any of your Arab nation friends, the ones who bought you private jets, the ones who funneled money into your crypto companies, the ones who let you pretend you were a big, smart real estate guy to build this building and that building, over which they built for you, just slop your name. You didn't build shit. So you didn't build any, excuse my language, you didn't build anything just to slop your name on it so they can give you a little bit of quid pro quo. You didn't scratch their back when they scratched your back. You just defrauded them like the con artist you've been your entire life, Donald, and they all realize what a pathetic loser you are. Just like you ran every one of your Atlantic City casinos into the ground. That's what you did with the United States security umbrella. That's what you did with NATO. That's what you did with the power and goodwill the United States built after
Peter.
World War II. You pathetic thing, you are so
Can you hit the like
despicable
button for me?
for what you have done, not just right now, but for future generations, and how much you've weakened our alliances, how much you've weakened our soft and strong power. And forgive me if I'm getting passionate right now, but this is such a weak and pathetic thing in the Oval Office. I don't care what political party you're from. This is sick. This is weak. This is loser behavior, and that knows no political party. It's just an objective damn fact. And if you're angry about me for spitting the facts, then go watch Megyn Kelly or some other YouTube channel. But this is where we talk about the truth. By the way, you have Netanyahu saying, but guess what, everybody? Donald Trump is reporting to me and keeping me well advised of all of the developments right here. That's what's going on.
That's exactly what he said. Hold on. That's exactly what he said.
Like Hezbollah and Israel
JD Vance.
For what you have done, not just right now, but for future generations, and how much you've weakened our alliances, how much you've weakened our soft and strong power. And forgive me if I'm getting passionate right now, but this is such a weak and pathetic thing in the Oval Office. I don't care what political party you're from. This is sick. This is weak. This is loser behavior, and that knows no political party. It's just an objective damn fact. And if you're angry about me for spitting the facts, then go watch Megyn Kelly or some other YouTube channel. But this is where we talk about the truth. By the way, you have Netanyahu saying, but guess what, everybody? Donald Trump is reporting to me and keeping me well advised of all of the developments right here. That's what's going on. You've got Donald Trump saying, the U.S. would like Hezbollah and Israel to stop fighting, but has not demanded a ceasefire, a senior Trump administration official said. So what were you talking with Lebanon about?
Here's how I eat low-carb, high-protein meals every day. These are my lunches this week.
I'm having internet issues. It keeps stopping. If you're having issues or buffing, please let me know. I see it on another device of mine that is spinning, but it looks like I have having internet issues, so bear with me.
Chinese government was over to the United States. What kind of conversations were you having? Because the 10-point framework you agreed to was a ceasefire for Lebanon and Hezbollah.
Over there it says frequent buffing.
Donald, that's what you agreed to. Now, again, we can all be like, why would he agree to that? I don't know, but he posted that he agreed to that, so that's why Iran thinks you agreed to that, bud. That's why. Donald Trump posts last night, trying to get a little breathing room between Israel and Lebanon. It's been a long time since the two leaders have spoken, like 34 years. It will happen tomorrow. Nice. Nice exclamation point. Meanwhile, you have Iran's foreign minister spokesperson Esmail Bakay posting the unprecedented solidarity shown by Muslim nations and conscientious justice-seeking people across the region and around the world in support of the heroic resistance of the Iranian nation against brutal U.S.-Israeli aggression is deeply appreciated. You think these people want to negotiate with you, Donald? I mean, you think that this is a crew that's just looking forward to backing down to your social media threats while they make AI Lego videos mocking Melania and mocking your family and mocking you and mocking your
wearing them out, baby.
Posts? Let's talk about a fact. This is what we do on the Midas Touch Network for years. As Gregory Brew explains in the Wall Street Journal article, talks about, for years, there was a pretty firm body of evidence to suggest that if you killed Ayatollah Khomeini and attempted regime change by killing the relatively pragmatic and cautious leadership in power in Iran before, you would clear the way for more aggressive Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps dominated leaders of a new regime who would emerge in place of the people that you killed. That is precisely what has happened. Well done, everybody. The Wall Street Journal article is titled, "Iran's Regime Has Changed for the Worse." And what it talks about is the old national security chief, Ali Larijani, was killed by Donald Trump and his regime. You know who replaced him? A guy by the name of Mohammad Bagher Zalgadar, a former Revolutionary Guard commander with a very violent background. Before the revolution, Zalgadar was a leader of a guerrilla group that killed an American petroleum engineer. He was personally involved in the assassination of 2 policemen, according to a memoir he published in an Iranian Journal of History. He rose through the ranks of the Revolutionary Guard during the Iraq War. Later, he helped found the Quds Force, which specialized in training foreign militias to attack Iran's enemies, as well as another paramilitary group that specialized in violence against political opponents. His views are so extreme that one of his subordinates, Qasem Soleimani, the notorious Quds Force leader later killed by the United States, temporarily quit in protest, according to Vali Nasser, a Middle East-focused professor at the Johns Hopkins University, that Zalgadar was too extreme for Qasem Soleimani, who Trump killed back in January of 2020. Also, the Revolutionary Guard's new commander-in-chief, Ahmed Vahidi, is accused of participating in the 1994 bombing of a Jewish community center in Buenos Aires that killed 85 people and injured hundreds. He established one of the training schools for Iran's leaders, and he pushed a very, very, very extreme agenda. Khomeini's new military advisor, Moshe Raisi, is accused of the Buenos Aires attack, and as a commander of the Revolutionary Guard in the 80s, he implemented a strategy designed to topple Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein, extending a disastrous war of attrition that the U.S. government says caused at least 250,000 deaths. So that's who you've now installed in power. And I could keep on going on, but hat tip to the Wall Street Journal for making that very clear. But what's Donald Trump focused on? Attacking the Catholic Church. That's his new move. You know, he's very angry at Pope Leo XIV and the American cardinals and bishops and priests for calling him out. So here's what Donald did, everybody. Here's what Donald did, because Donald Trump, when he posted himself as Jesus and claimed he was a doctor in the Red Cross, he didn't like that people were saying that's the most ridiculous story we've ever heard. He didn't like the fact that when he keeps posting photos of himself as AI Jesus or Jesus hugging him, that people are like, you are a blasphemous weirdo. And regardless of whether you're from this religion or that religion or no religion at all, we can all acknowledge, Donald, that you are just a despicable, vile thing, and that you go against.
If you struggle with getting your hair to grow, this product right here is one
A
that
sick
is
liar.
definitely for you.
Any just value and virtue and principle of love, of empathy, regardless of religion, that we should all care about. So here's what Donald Trump's doing. The Trump regime has abruptly canceled an $11 million contract with Catholic charities to shelter and care for migrant children who enter the U.S. alone. The U.S. government has abruptly decided to end more than 60 years of relationships with the Catholic charities in the Archdiocese of Miami. The Archdiocese of Miami services for unaccompanied minors have been recognized for their excellence and have served as a model for other agencies throughout the country. So, yes, you're punishing the Catholic Church because you're a vindictive piece of but also you are now attacking unaccompanied minors because that's who you are as a leader
you want to
in the
do
Epstein
something with
class,
them.
covering up child sex trafficking rings. You are Epstein's bud. You are a sexual predator being found civilly liable, that is, for sexual assault. You're on audio tape bragging about sexually assaulting women. You're on audio tape bragging about going into locker rooms of girls naked and looking at their bodies naked because you said that you inspect them when you are the owner of beauty pageants. And then you also,
Inspect them.
as the head of the Epstein class, one of your first moves in the war in Iran is blowing up a elementary school with 165 little girls who you murdered. Let them haunt you each
Brilliant.
and
More money
every
for
night.
himself.
Let
Absolutely.
all of the victims of your war crimes, all of those young and old who you have tortured, who you have
Why
assaulted,
he
who
punishing?
you
Because
have ruined their
somebody
lives,
called him
let
out.
them haunt you, let them haunt your family, and let them haunt future generations of anybody who has supported
Oh, he
this
wanted to say
despicable
ucking with
behavior.
you. Shout out to Ben. He wanted to say announce this 10-day ceasefire between somebody else. Like you still trying to get a peace prize. Let's laugh a little bit, y'all. Y'all ready to laugh a little bit in between? Because I don't know what's going on with my sister. Oh,
We
let's
just started the greatest blockade of Iranian ports in history. They will beg for a deal. Mr. President, the talks in Pakistan have failed. Fake news! I won on. Blockade has been... We just started the greatest blockade of Iranian ports in history. They will beg for a deal. Mr. President, the talks in Pakistan have failed. Fake news! I won on. The blockade has begun. Iran's navy is destroyed. Only drug boats left. But they haven't even left port yet. The details. I'm a genius. Nice try with the blockade. They say all ports are closed, Iran. Yet here we are, fully loaded. The blockade is working perfectly. Iran is already in panic. Sir, tankers are still loading in Bushehr. Alternative facts. Mr. President, Chinese and Indian tankers are still passing through Hormuz. Impossible! My beautiful blockade. They ignore us, sir. They born us steady. Nice blockade, Mr. Trump. Should we stop them? Trump said maximum pressure, but not today.
But not today.
My blockade will start. Impossible! My beautiful blockade. They ignore us, sir. They born us steady. Nice blockade, Mr. Trump. Should we stop them? Trump said maximum pressure, but not today. My blockade will starve them. No oil, no money. Sir, oil prices just went up because tankers are still moving. That's a win. The Iranian ports are totally blocked. Greatest success ever. But
that's a win. That's a win. Is he playing delusional, or do he believe his lies? Do he not separate his failures? I mean, so he really don't ever have a win. So his failures are wins. That has to be up in the head of a sick person.
Nice blockade, Mr. Trump. Should we stop them? Trump said maximum pressure, but not today. My blockade will starve them. No oil, no money. Sir, oil prices just went up because tankers are still moving. That's a win. The Iranian ports are totally blocked. Greatest success ever. But videos show ships passing. Deep state videos.
Have you ever tried
What
a
in the
lollipop
world?
that's been in a toilet before? How about 3?
Blockade? What? The Iranian ports are totally blocked. Greatest success ever. But videos show ships passing. Deep state videos. Blockade? What blockade? Stop in the name of Trump. Tell him to try harder. This is the best blockade anyone has ever seen. Sir, the ships are still delivering oil. They're fake ships. Today marks day 3 of the historic U.S. blockade. But tankers are still delivering oil on time. Don't tell the president.
Don't tell the president. Don't tell the don't tell the pet. Don't Don't tell him. So when they tell this clown the truth, he acts as if they didn't say nothing or what they said is what he said. And then now they don't want to play dumb no more. Did I talk about playing dumb? I just can't. So now we just not going to tell him. We going to let him play into his own fantasy. Yeah. And the sad part about it is we living in this world with this make-believe ass man. And then they come over here talking about, oh, he's the best thing yet that ever came into my life, you know. Shit. Let's go, y'all.
This is the best blockade anyone has ever seen. Sir, the ships are still delivering oil. They're fake ships. Today marks day 3 of the historic U.S. blockade, but tankers are still delivering oil on time. Don't tell the president. Your blockade is as empty as their promises. We already are laughing all the way to the bank, and the oil keeps flowing. Thanks for the fireworks. This is maximum pressure. Feels like maximum embarrassment. The chart is rigged. My blockade is perfect. Sir, even our allies are ignoring it. Losers! So are we blockading or just sunbathing? Trump called it the greatest naval operation ever. Feels like the greatest waste of fuel. We have the strongest navy in the world, and yet these tankers just wave at us. Trump calls this maximum pressure. Another beautiful day in the Persian Gulf. The Americans are shouting again. Let them shout. Oil must flow. Why are my red lines not working? Because the ships keep moving, sir. Then make bigger red lines. Blockade? I see only expensive American boats doing nothing. Should we slow down to make them feel better? No, we have schedules. Today marks day 3 of the historic U.S. blockade, but tankers are still delivering oil on time. Don't tell Trump.
Don't.
Best blockade ever, believe me. Sir, even European allies are buying Iranian oil again. They're not real allies. The Americans said ports are blocked. Funny, my crane still works. Maybe Trump meant Twitter blocked. So are we blockading or just sunbathing? Trump said it's the greatest naval operation. Feels like the greatest waste of fuel. I want results. Sink something. Sir, sinking neutral tankers might start World War III. Then call it a beautiful little war. U.S. Navy, do you need directions? This is a blockade zone. Looks more like a parade zone.
Mr. President, the blockade is being completely ignored internationally.
Then tweet harder. More capital letters. Day 5 of the greatest blockade. It's more like a toll booth with no staff. Look, total blockade. Ports are empty. Sir, that's the wrong window. Fake window. Business as usual? Always. Trump's tweets don't unload cargo.
Wow. The whole world
We
laughing
control
at
the
you.
sea, the air, the satellites, but not the tankers? Apparently not even the narrative. My blockade is making Iran cry. But oil prices are rising, sir. That means we're winning bigly. Halt! Sorry, no English today. This is embarrassing. Social media is not on our side, sir. Then ban the internet. I did it before in my mind. They said they would darken our ports. Instead, they lit up our Instagram. But where is my victory? The oil is still flowing, sir. Then flow it back. Or it this way.
Flow it back.
This blockade is the most expensive photo opportunity I've seen. At least the Americans provide free escort. You are the greatest blocker, but nobody is blocked. Wrong.
That's him talking to himself in the mirror.
Fake news. Tremendous victory. For the official record, what are you recording? The failure of the century.
Wow, the failure
Mission
of the
accomplished.
century.
I'll build the best wall. The wall fell. Fake news. Tremendous victory. For the official record, what are you recording? The failure of the century. Mission accomplished. Perfect timing. While the greatest blockade in history continues, men, we must maintain the illusion of control.
The
For how long?
illusion.
Until Trump tweets something new.
Oh, wow.
The more you stay home,
Oh,
the less you
wow.
want to leave. And the more you stay, the heavier everything
Oh,
feels.
wow.
You think you're resting, but you're actually draining yourself.
To unbreakable partnerships and to unbreakable blockades.
I'll drink to that, is what they saying.
I see total victory. Sir, turn it around. Never. Any comment on the continued oil flow? The president is winning in his mind. Hard. Ramming speed. We bounced. This is not in the manual. Higher oil prices mean America wins. Actually, it hurts our allies too. Their problem. Good night, American Navy. Good night again. Why won't they sink? Because we're not at war, sir. Then declare it quietly. Best blockade party ever. Free American escort included.
Epic
Fake
fail.
headline. It's our own newspaper, sir. Even worse. And so the greatest blockade in history became the greatest maritime traffic jam ever avoided. Everyone, listen. The time for action is now. Follow me. We will prevail. Yes, leader. We are with you. Good. Now, march forward with me. Forward we go.
A whole clown show.
We surrender to reality. Don't tell the president.
They surrender to reality, y'all. This is crazy.
Move! I command you!
Don't tell the president.
Yes, leader, we are with you. Good. Now, march forward with me. Forward we go. We surrender to reality. Don't tell the president. Move! I command you! Sir, we have achieved awareness. Is that a win? In marketing terms, yes. Thank you for the escort, gentlemen. You're welcome, apparently. This was supposed to be my masterpiece. History will remember it. As what? The blockade that wasn't. And while the world kept turning. But I said blockade! Next time, bigger walls on water. Yes, sir. We had the best blockade. Sure you did.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't know, because over there I'm looking at my TV and it is saying, it's like they messing with my internet. And like they don't want me to play it. Hold on. Lord.
Is the best thing I own. I've been searching for a really nice nugget ice maker, but I didn't want the kind where you have to stick your hand down in the bucket. I saw that.
Mr. President, pursuant to Section 36B1 of the Arms Export Control Act, I move to discharge the Committee on Foreign Relations.
Let's
for
get
further
to some
consideration
business.
Of SJ Res 138.
The clerk will report the motion.
The Senator from Vermont, Mr. Sanders, moves to discharge Senate Joint Resolution 138,
No more
providing for
money.
congressional disapproval of the proposed foreign military sale to the government of Israel of certain defense articles and services from the Committee on Foreign Relations.
Mr. President,
Recognize the senator from Vermont.
thank you. Mr. President, let me begin by thanking Senator Kelly not only for his remarks and his work as
Can I get y'all to hit the like button,
but for his service
please?
to our country in the military, and I very much appreciate his support for these resolutions.
Okay, can y'all hear me now? No, hold. Hold, please. Am I back? Can y'all hear me? You got buffed off to another channel. I tried to tell y'all I was having issues with the buffing on one of my screens. It says buffing, and you said that you wasn't buffing. I tried to warn y'all that it was doing some crazy stuff.
And his work as a U.S. Senator, but for his service.
On.
Thank you. Mr. President, let me begin by thanking Senator Kelly not only for his remarks and his work as a U.S. Senator, but for his service to our country in the military, and I very much appreciate his support for these resolutions. Mr. President, 60% of our people here in the United States live
And on my tablet, I'm spinning. Let me show y'all. I don't know if they playing with me or what, but my tablet is spinning. So if it kicks you somewhere, it's not me. So I'm not gonna be able to say hold, please, because I'm having issues with my internet.
Groceries, for housing, for health care, and increasingly the ability to fill up their gas tanks in their cars in order to get to work. We also have
Hey,
a
Samantha.
$37 trillion national debt. Bottom line, the American people, whether they are Democrats, Republicans, or independents, conservatives, moderates, or progressives, want to make certain that their tax dollars are spent responsibly. And in strong and growing numbers, they do not want us to continue spending billions of their taxpayer dollars in support of the illegal, horrific and expansionist war policies of the Netanyahu government in Israel. Since October 7th, 2023, the United States has provided over $21 billion, $21 billion in military aid to Israel. And today we are saying loudly and clearly, enough is
enough.
Mr. President, we all know that on October 7th, 2023, Hamas, a terrorist organization, attacked Israel. They killed more than 1,200 innocent men, women, and children, and took hundreds of hostages. I believe that there is no disagreement in this chamber that, like any other country on earth, Israel had the absolute right to respond to that barbaric Hamas attack. But, Mr. President, Israel did not have the right to violate international law and wage an all-out war of unspeakable destruction against the entire Palestinian people in what experts have correctly concluded is a genocide. Israel did not have the right, out of a population of 2.2 million, to kill more than 72,000 Palestinians in Gaza and wound over 170,000. That is more than 10% of the population. If that happened here in America, that would be over 30 million Americans dead or wounded. And in Gaza, a strong majority of the dead and wounded are women, children, and the elderly. And by the way, that number is likely an underestimate as to the tragedy, as bodies are literally being pulled out of the rubble every single day.
You have something in your home right now
Better
that can make
late
you
than
thousands
not.
of dollars
Oh,
and
excuse
literally
me.
change your financial future. Book.
Mr. President, Israel did not have the right to destroy virtually all of Gaza's infrastructure, including its water and sewer systems and its supply of electricity. They did not have the right to demolish every one of Gaza's 12 universities.
So we're funding them
along
to
with
do
hundreds
this.
of schools, dismantling their entire educational system. Vast majority of the children in Gaza today are not in school. Israel did not have the right to indiscriminately bomb civilian neighborhoods and damage or destroy over 90% of the housing units in Gaza. Over 90% damaged or destroyed, resulting in the vast majority of the population there now sleeping in tents. That is where they are today. Israel did not have the right to bomb over 90% of the hospitals in Gaza, hospitals, and kill 1,700 healthcare workers. And Mr. President, Israel did not have the right to impose a blockade which prevented food, water, and medicine from entering Gaza, resulting in thousands of Palestinians being diagnosed with malnutrition and hundreds actually starving to death. But, Mr. President, today we're not just talking about Gaza. In the West Bank, in direct violation of international law that protects Palestinian territory, Israeli soldiers and settlers since October 2023 have killed over 1,000 Palestinians, including 233 children. During that period, Mr. President, they have demolished more than 6,000 Palestinian homes and established more than 200 new illegal settlements and outposts in Palestinian territory. And let us be clear, because I think there is some confusion about this. These actions are not just the results of some extremists, out of control settlers who are just doing whatever they want. Those actions are consistent with Israeli government policy. Netanyahu's security cabinet has approved the most sweeping changes to the West Bank's legal status since 1967, removing nearly all constraints on settlement expansion. Netanyahu himself declared, this is Netanyahu, quote, "There will never be a Palestinian state," end quote. And I say that to some people here who still say, well, we're in favor of a two-state solution. That is not Mr. Netanyahu's position. To the West Bank's legal status since 1967, removing nearly all constraints on settlement expansion. Netanyahu himself declared, this is Netanyahu, quote, "There will never be a Palestinian state," end quote. And I say that to some people here who still say, well, we're in favor of a two-state solution. That is not Mr. Netanyahu's position. Quote, he said, "There will never be a Palestinian state." His finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, bragged that new settlement construction in the West Bank would bury, that's his word, bury the idea of a Palestinian state. But, Mr. President, it is not just Gaza and the West Bank. We now know that Netanyahu convinced President Trump to start an unprovoked and unconstitutional war on Iran. For 40 years, Netanyahu convinced President Trump to start an unprovoked and unconstitutional war on Iran. For 40 years, Netanyahu has wanted the United States to participate with Israel in a war against Iran, and finally, after 40 years of effort, he finally found in Trump a president willing to go along. He couldn't get Democratic presidents in the past, couldn't get Republican presidents in the past. In Trump, he finally found a president.
Nobody fell for it.
This war in violation of international law has resulted already in the deaths of thousands of civilians, including hundreds of children in Iran and Lebanon, including 26 Israeli civilians who are now dead and 13 American soldiers who have lost their lives so far in this conflict. Mr. President, all over the world, certainly including the United States, hundreds of millions of innocent people are suffering the economic consequences of this war, with higher prices and growing scarcity of basic goods. I believe that in Vermont now, the price of gas, regular gas, is about $4 a gallon. Parts of the country, it is even higher than that. But, Mr. President, for Netanyahu, Gaza was not enough.
Hi, I'm Andy Levian, General Counsel at the DNC. We just sued President Trump and Doge.
Yeah,
and I
please
hope
hit
you
the
will
like
support us
button.
by donating to our fight fund.
Can I get y'all to hit the like button, please?
Attacking Iran,
The three dots at the top right corner.
not enough. Netanyahu is now waging a full-blown war of expansion against Lebanon. That war in Lebanon has not only killed more than 2,000 people, but has resulted in Israel occupying 14% of Lebanese territory. Let me repeat that. The war in Lebanon has not only killed more than 2,000 people, but has resulted in Israel occupying 14% of Lebanese territory. President, the Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz, has announced that all Lebanese border villages will be demolished. Will be demolished. His exact words, following, quote, the model in Gaza. Demolish border villages. Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, has warned that Dayaya, a suburb of South Beirut, quote,
Withholding
will
the
look like Khan
information
Yunis,
from his loved ones.
end quote, a city in Gaza that Israel reduced to rubble. In other words, what they did in what they did in Gaza is now what they intend to do in parts of Lebanon. And these, Mr. President, are not threats, they are promises. For all of the reasons that I have given, and more, and you're going to hear more from some of my colleagues in a few moments, support for Israel in this country has plummeted. Today, according to a recent Pew poll, 80% of Democrats now have an unfavorable opinion of Israel, and 41% of Republicans share that view. And the numbers in all parties among young people are even higher. Young people, whether they are young Democrats, progressives, conservatives, do not want us to continue to fund the horrific war policies of Netanyahu. A recent Quinnipiac poll also found that 60%, including 3/4 of Democrats, 2/3 of independents, and 37% of Republicans. I say that to my Republican colleagues. 37% of Republicans do not want the U.S. sending more military aid to Israel. And that is why, Mr. President, I am offering today 2 joint resolutions of disapproval, the only formal mechanism Congress has to block an arms sale. The first resolution would block the sale of $151 million in 1,000-pound bombs. The second would block $295 million in bulldozers, the machines used to demolish homes in the West Bank and Gaza and make a Palestinian state physically impossible. Mr. President, the time is long overdue for members of the U.S. Senate to start listening to the American people and not to AIPAC.
AIPAC.
The time is now for us to end all U.S. military aid to the extremist Netanyahu government, and a yes vote is an important way forward. Mr. President, with that, I would yield to my colleague from Maryland, Senator Chris Van Hollen.
He said that, didn't he? Stop funding AIPAC. Stop funding Bibi Netanyahu. Stop funding Israel. The time. Okay, so it looked like a foreign leader, not a foreign leader, Lord, a former political figure has done the unthinkable to his wife and kids. Hold on. Oh, it may be on my Facebook. Hold on. Violation of... Bernie did that. Let me find it. Yeah.
I chose this solar tungsten wall light because I wanted outdoor
brother,
lighting that
that.
felt both practical and
We are anonymous. We are not a single
This is not
person,
it. I'm
not
gonna
a single
find it.
channel, not a single agenda. We are the signal in the static, the whisper behind the headlines, the ones connecting fragments they hope you scroll past. And tonight, what we're exposing isn't just another political spat. We are anonymous. We are not a single person, not a single channel, not a single agenda. We are the signal in the static, the whisper behind the headlines, the ones connecting fragments they hope you scroll past. And tonight, what we're exposing isn't just another political spat. It's a full-blown collision between power, ego, religion, and a crumbling illusion of control. This is Anonymous revealing why Donald Trump is facing backlash, not only from the Vatican, but from the very MAGA Catholics who once stood behind him. Here's the hook, and it hits hard. A former U.S. president publicly attacking the Pope like he's arguing on a late-night reality show. Not satire, not parody, real life. And the fallout, way bigger than Trump expected. The shockwaves are still echoing after Trump dropped what can only be described as an unhinged social media rant targeting Pope Leo, a spiritual leader to over 1 billion Catholics worldwide. Trump didn't just criticize policy, he went personal. He called the Pope weak on crime, terrible on foreign policy, and even implied he preferred the Pope's brother, because get this, he's all MAGA. Yeah, that happened. And if you're thinking, okay, maybe he'll walk it back, think again. When reporters asked him directly, Trump doubled down like a man who just discovered the caps lock button for the first time. He claimed the Pope likes crime, suggested he supports nuclear weapons, and accused him of enabling chaos in cities.
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. So we don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person.
It was less presidential statement, more late-night rant energy. Now pause, because this is where things go from chaotic to catastrophic. Trump and his team clearly thought they could take a swing at the Vatican without consequences. But what they didn't anticipate, what they completely miscalculated, was the moral authority of the Catholic Church when it comes to issues like war, peace, and human life, especially after global outrage tied to U.S. military actions, including reports that over 160 schoolgirls were killed in Iran. Whether you agree with the framing or not, one thing is clear. The Vatican was never going to stay silent, and Pope Leo hasn't been silent. Even before this meltdown, he had been a consistent, unrelenting critic of war nationalism and policies that disregard human dignity. He didn't always name Trump directly, but everyone knew who he was talking about. So when Trump snapped publicly, it wasn't out of nowhere. It was pressure building and then exploding. But here's where the plot twist kicks in. Trump didn't just alienate liberals, moderates, or international leaders. He started losing his own people. MAGA Catholics, the same base that often defends him no matter what. Suddenly they're stuck in a moral tug-of-war. Follow their political leader or follow their faith. And not everyone is choosing Trump. Enter Robert Barron, not a fringe voice, not a liberal critic, a respected conservative Catholic bishop who literally sits on Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. And what does he do? He publicly rebukes Trump, calls his statements inappropriate, disrespectful, says they add nothing to constructive dialogue, and then drops the line that probably hit Trump harder than any tweet. The president owes the Pope an apology. That's not just criticism, that's internal fracture. And if you've been watching closely, you'll notice something else. This isn't the first time Trump has clashed with religious figures, but this time feels different. Because it's not just about policy disagreements, it's about tone, ego, and the perception that Trump sees himself as above even spiritual authority. Then comes the moment. Trump posts an image of himself, one that even his most loyal supporters struggle to defend. The internet does what it always does. Memes explode, TikTok stitches, reaction videos, people laughing, cringing, arguing. It becomes less about politics and more about spectacle. And that's dangerous, because when your message turns into a joke, you lose control of the narrative. Even hardcore MAGA Christians start asking questions. Quietly, at first, then louder. Is this really what we stand for? And while all this chaos unfolds, the cameras turn to Pope Leo, Reporters practically sprint to get his response. This is the moment, right? The clap back, the counterattack. But that's not what they get. Instead, they get calm, measured words, a reminder of the gospel, a rejection of turning faith into a political weapon. He talks
You know,
about
I wonder why all of a sudden they started bringing God in this. I mean, I know we need to hear it. I mean, for our sake. But why are they bringing God in it? I'm talking about Trump now. First, not too long ago, Bibi Netanyahu had something to say about God, right? That like he wasn't running nothing. Then Trump came out acting like he was God. Now he asking God to please forget. What is this? This is all a huge deflection. It's just, but why does it have to go this route? Why does everything all of a sudden got to be tied up in court and all that type of stuff? Why is there no justice, for the political, the elite? But everybody else, there's justice. I mean, what's really going on? This is some of the craziest mess ever. I need for y'all to hit the like button. Please.
peace, about dialogue, about the suffering of innocent people around the world. He refuses to engage in personal attacks.
I have no fears that either the Trump administration are speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. The message of the church, my message, the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers. I do not look at my role as being a politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loud against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
Not because he can't.
Here's how I eat low-carb, high-protein meals every day. These are my lunches this week. Eating carnivore or keto isn't cheap or fast.
But because he won't. And in that moment, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. On one side, noise insults escalation. On the other, restraint, principle, consistency. Then during Mass, Pope Leo delivers what many are calling the real response. No names, no direct references, but everyone understands. He speaks about peacemakers inheriting the future, about justice prevailing over injustice, about violence never having the final word.
The future belongs to men and women of peace. In the end, justice will always triumph over injustice, just as violence, despite all appearances, will never have the last word.
It's subtle, but it hits harder than any tweet. And here's the part Trump and many of his strategists completely missed. Every time they attack the Pope, they amplify that message. They give it more attention, more credibility, more reach. It's like trying to silence an echo by shouting louder. You just make it spread. For Catholics, especially those already uneasy with Trump's rhetoric, this becomes a turning point. Because being a peacemaker isn't optional in their faith. It's foundational. It's one of the core teachings of Christianity. And when Trump positions himself in opposition to that, he's not just making a political argument. He's challenging a moral identity. And people notice. Even figures like J.D. Vance, who have built careers navigating both political and religious spaces, now face a dilemma. Support Trump and risk alienating their faith community, or distance themselves and risk political backlash. It's a lose-lose situation, and Trump created it. Meanwhile, online, the narrative keeps evolving. Clips of Trump's statements circulate alongside.
Hold on, and he created it.
Promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
Not because he can't, but because he won't. And in that moment, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. On one side, noise insults escalation. On the other, restraint, principle, consistency. Then during Mass, Pope Leo delivers what many are calling the real response. No names, no direct references, but everyone understands.
Brian.
He speaks about peacemakers inheriting the future, about justice prevailing over injustice, about violence never having the final word.
The future belongs to men and women of peace. In the end, justice will always triumph over injustice. Just as violence, despite all appearances, will never have the last word.
It's subtle, but it hits harder than any tweet. And here's the part Trump and many of his strategists completely missed. Every time they attack the Pope, they amplify that message. They give it more attention, more credibility, more reach. It's like trying to silence an echo by shouting louder. You just make it spread. For Catholics, especially those already uneasy with Trump's rhetoric, this becomes a turning point. Because being a peacemaker isn't optional in their faith. It's foundational. It's one of the core teachings of Christianity. And when Trump positions himself in opposition to that, he's not just making a political argument. He's challenging a moral identity. And people notice. Even figures like J.D. Vance, who have built careers navigating both political and religious spaces, now face a dilemma. Support Trump and risk alienating their faith community, or distance themselves and risk political backlash. It's a lose-lose situation, and Trump created it. Meanwhile, online, the narrative keeps evolving. Clips of Trump's statements circulate alongside clips of the Pope's responses. Side-by-side comparisons, reaction videos, commentary from theologians, analysts, comedians. It becomes a cultural moment, not just a political one. Some people laugh, some get angry, some feel vindicated, others feel conflicted. That's the emotional cocktail driving this story. And let's be real, Trump thrives on attention. But this kind of attention, it's different. It's not just outrage from opponents. It's disappointment from supporters. And that cuts deeper, because once doubt enters a base, it spreads quietly, gradually, then all at once. Looking ahead, the implications are huge. Elections aren't just about policies, they're about coalitions. And if even a fraction of Catholic voters decide to sit out, switch sides, or simply disengage, that could shift outcomes in ways Trump didn't anticipate. This isn't just backlash, it's erosion. We are anonymous, and what we see is a pattern when power becomes
too much power. And they playing with God. They done brought the Pope up in here. They talking crazy. Trump think he God. This is, oh man. Oh man. It has just went way too far. Hold on, I'm trying to find out about this guy. Former Virginia Lieutenant Governor. Let's hear it. Governor, I'm sorry.
And law enforcement says former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax and his wife are dead after an apparent murder-suicide. Police say preliminary findings indicate Fairfax shot his wife before turning the gun on himself. Fairfax served as Lieutenant Governor from 2018 to 2022 and was previously accused of sexual assault by 2 women. He denied those allegations. Now police say Fairfax and his wife had been going through a complicated
So he was one of them.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert's here with the details. Hi, Andrew. What do we know so far?
He was one of them. He was accused of SA of 2 women. Did it get too hot? Was he about to get busted or exposed? I hope this means that they all finna come tumbling down. This is what I hope it means. But a Virginia former lieutenant governor has taken of himself and his wife. Let's go.
And law enforcement says former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax and his wife are dead after an apparent murder-suicide. Police say preliminary findings indicate Fairfax shot his wife before turning the gun on himself. Fairfax served as lieutenant governor from 2018 to 2022 and was previously accused of sexual assault by 2 women. He denied those allegations. Now police say Fairfax and his wife had been going through a complicated divorce. ABC's Andrew Dimbert's here with the details. Hi, Andrew. What do we know so far?
Well, the details in this case are just gruesome, Diane. According to police, the couple's 2 teenage children were inside the home during this murder-suicide. Police saying that one of them was the one to call 911. Authorities say Fairfax shot his wife, Serena, multiple times in the basement of the home before going upstairs and turning the gun on himself. Officers say one of the teenage children called 911 just after midnight. Police
imagining having to live with
scene.
that.
Now, it's early in the investigation, but according to police, neighbors, and our affiliates down there in Virginia who have talked to some of these neighbors, this appears to stem from a contentious divorce. In fact, police say that they've responded to this home before for domestic-related calls, multiple times, including once earlier this year. Fairfax was elected lieutenant governor back in 2017. He served under Governor Ralph Northam. Before that, he was a federal prosecutor. And again, although it is the early stages of this investigation, police say that this shooting appears to stem, at least in part, from a bitter divorce, Diane.
All right, Andrew Dimbert, thank you.
Breaking news, scientists discover the #1 drug for longevity, and it isn't a drug.
All right, folks, good morning. I'm here to confirm the identity of our shooter in this murder-suicide that happened several hours ago as former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife inside of their home and then shot and killed himself. I think you have the rest of the details that Captain Cosgriff gave earlier this morning, so I'm just going to pause right here and answer any of your questions to the best of my ability right now. I can just tell you, then I'll go to Drew first, that this has been an ongoing domestic dispute surrounding what seems to be a complicated or messy divorce. So, Drew. So far, what we know is probably what you all know, and I don't think it's a secret that there's been divorce proceedings that have been ongoing. From what I understand at this early stage, former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding. That apparently led to this incident last night. Both of their children, teenagers, the boys older than the girl, were in the house when it happened. So that's horrible news for the family. Certainly a traumatic event for those children to live through. But we know that it all kind of culminated last night when Justin Fairfax shot several times and killed his wife, ran to a different part of the home, and then killed himself with the same firearm. So it seems like, and I know I'm competing with some school buses here. It seems like the murder took place in the basement. It's described to me as a unfinished basement in the home. At some point after Justin shot and killed his wife, he runs upstairs in the home and into the primary bedroom apparently, and shoots and kills himself. So we checked on that. The question is, have we had any previous domestic or calls for service to this location? In January of this year, Mr. Fairfax calls the police and alleges that his wife assaulted him. We responded to that scene. There are several cameras set up inside the house. Apparently, Mrs. Fairfax, at some point during these divorce proceedings, set up a lot of cameras inside the home. We reviewed those cameras, and we corroborated that the alleged assault never occurred. So there was no arrest made. There was a report written, but the allegation that Mr. Fairfax made in January that Mrs. Fairfax assaulted him was proven to be untrue. Certainly this is a high-profile family. And at one point in time, I think it's fair to say that Justin Fairfax, before he was lieutenant governor, while he served as lieutenant governor, and even afterwards, was a rising star politically, not just in Northern Virginia, but in Virginia. So it's high profile in nature, it's tragic in nature, certainly a fall from grace for a relatively high profile family that seemingly had a lot of things going in their favor. So tragic for the children to lose both parents, extra tragic for them to actually be in the home when it occurred. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and our victim services division, like they always do, is leaning into the family, the surviving relatives, the children in particular, and we'll do everything we can for them. Then I'll get. So our detectives have gathered that. Certainly, there's enough cameras inside the home that we're able to corroborate some of that. But the one of the children was the 911 caller just after midnight. So he described some things to us as well that we've since corroborated. And I think I heard one question about what do we know about the gun. I don't know anything about the gun yet. The same gun that Mr. Fairfax used to kill his wife seems to be the same gun that he used to kill himself. I don't know. Well, we're going to be here for a while. Obviously, we have a search warrant we need to execute to recover
Bless
evidence.
the children,
Certainly
man.
included in that evidence is the primary firearm that was used in any other firearms. I don't know that they do or don't exist. I believe they were. Sure. So what we know, I'm going back to January now, what we know is that Mrs. Fairfax, at some point in time, they lived together while they were separated in separate bedrooms. At some point in time, we know Mrs. Fairfax installed several cameras inside the home, and we know that because when Mr. Fairfax called us to their home back in January and alleged that his wife assaulted him in the home, we were able to go to those cameras and determine that never occurred. So that's the only time that the Fairfax County Police Department has ever been at the Fairfax home. Yes, so there's grandparents involved, other family members involved, our victim services division is involved, but so their well-being is a primary concern. Yeah, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I know that they were separated, living together. I know that they are
separated living together, baby.
Court appearances.
Separated means separated
in the very
from
near
me.
future. I know he was served some paperwork recently. Apparently, the paperwork indicated when he was next to appear in court. That may have been a spark. And detectives will figure that out. That led to this tragedy here. Again, a mother. Shot and killed, taken from her children, and then he takes his own life. So I think family, friends will probably look at this and look at chaos and trauma that people go through, and probably any separation or divorce proceedings, and likely determine that there were red flags along the way in retrospect. But certainly, half of America probably goes through divorce proceedings at some point in time, and very, very rarely, thankfully, does it ever end up like this. So, very, very sad for this community and the school buses here, and a lot of people who know the Fairfax family. Everybody's shocked. We're shocked. I don't know. We'll determine that. Yeah. The only thing I'm going to surmise before I get myself in trouble with detectives is that we know that recently Mr. Fairfax was served some type of paperwork indicating when he was scheduled to next appear in court for the ongoing divorce proceedings. So I guess that is something that we're looking at as something that may have led to whatever happened last night.
That essay ain't
led
no
to the
joke.
murder of a mother and a wife, and a
Yeah,
suicide.
they need to learn how to, he was
Under
married, he
investigation.
got a wife and
Obviously, we have two
kids,
teenage children
and
who are in the house, but our main concern is for their well-being right now.
if somebody
They are
tells you no,
interacting
that
with
means
us.
no.
Certainly, the son was the one who called 911 during a very chaotic situation. I can only imagine. I know Mr. Fairfax is or was an attorney. I know he returned to practice law after he served as lieutenant governor for Virginia. I otherwise don't know exactly what he was doing with his employment or his law practice. Just after midnight, just a few minutes after midnight. If there was a window, Drew, it was a very short window. So I think it all kind of happened at once. Obviously, the wife is shot and killed before Mr. Fairfax takes his own
Maryland
life.
has passed
I think it
legislation
was all at once.
allowing every
There
parent to
wasn't
take 12
a
weeks paid
pause. There
time
was
off.
never a moment where someone was holed up in a room or cops were here and it was it all happened pretty spontaneous.
Oh, I'm sorry, I ain't see nothing. Belinda, about time you let me see. There you go.
He
Hey,
was.
Rocky,
There's a high bar to
unbelievable.
charge
Yep.
someone making a false report. So, but our
I'm up here
police
thinking
officers,
y'all ain't
patrol
said
officers
nothing.
investigated. They were able to
This is so sad for
corroborate
the children.
that it
It
didn't occur back
absolutely
in
is.
January. So no files or charges, but a police report was written. Yeah, I don't know about mental health or behavioral crisis. I do know, and I'm sorry to compete with the noise, that the family was going through seemingly a very tough time with the separation, with the divorce, etc. I can only imagine the stress that the parents felt, the kids felt, and the other family members as well. Yes, Serena Fairfax is our victim. Mrs. Fairfax was a
Can I get y'all to hit the like button,
Mr.
please?
Fairfax, obviously, the former lieutenant governor and a lawyer, and two teenage children in high school. Yes, both pronounced on the scene. Okay. To the best of my knowledge, it was January of this year, 2026. But we'll obviously dig into that, confirm it. Within minutes of the 911 call, we can get the exact time frame for you. Both teens were home. The son called 911. A what? One boy and a girl. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, everything shortly after midnight. And folks, that's all I got. It's kind of one of my practices never to say no more questions, so I'm not saying no more questions, but that's all I have right now. When we get more information, we'll be sure to share it with you, but right now the focus is on the crime scene investigation and the kids. Thank you all.
Okay, y'all, that's all I got for
If you
now.
got a
I'm
virus
going to
on your
be back
computer,
later
pretty sure it's
on.
my fault. I click
I'm
on
gonna
all
go get
sorts
me
of
something to eat. I'm kind of hungry. But there's a lot going on, so I will be back later on. Okay. Okay, can y'all still hear me? Did y'all just hear me? Hit the like button. Eat soon. Yeah, I'm hungry. Okay, y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all later.